What if I told you the ketchup sitting in your fridge right now was once sold as a cure for diarrhea, liver disease, and indigestion? Not as a joke, not as a myth, as actual medicine, prescribed by actual doctors, sold in actual pharmacies across America. The story of ketchup is one of the strangest transformations in food history, from a rotten fish sauce in ancient China to a pill in 19th century America, to the red bottle on every table in the world. And it took over 1,800 years to get there. Let's go back to the beginning. The year is around 300 AD, southern China, coastal villages. Fishermen have a problem. They catch too much fish. It rots fast. So they do what humans always do. They get creative. They take the leftover fish, guts, bones, scraps, and they ferment it in salt. For months, sometimes years. What comes out is a thick, dark, intensely savory liquid. They called it ke-tsiap, which roughly translates to brine of pickled fish. It tasted nothing like the ketchup you know. No tomatoes, no sweetness, just deep, pungent, powerful umami. But it was incredible as a flavor enhancer, and it spread fast. From China to Vietnam, Indonesia, the Philippines, every coastal region had its own version. This sauce was so addictive, so flavorful, that sailors and traders started carrying it on ships. And ships, as we know, go everywhere. Fast forward to the late 1600s. British sailors discover this sauce in Southeast Asia. They are completely obsessed. They bring it back to England. But there is a problem. The original ingredients, fermented fish, exotic spices, are nearly impossible to find in Britain. So the English do what the English do best. They improvise. British cooks start making their own versions of ketchup using whatever they have on hand. Mushrooms, walnuts, oysters, anchovies, kidney beans. Yes, mushroom ketchup was a real thing. Oyster ketchup was a real thing. And none of these were sweet. They were dark, salty, fermented sauces, closer to Worcestershire sauce than anything we recognize today. Ketchup at this point is everywhere in English cooking. And still, not a single tomato in sight. Now here is where it gets really strange. The year is 1834, America. A physician named Dr. John Cook Bennett makes a bold, very public claim. He publishes an article stating that tomatoes, which Americans were still deeply suspicious of, by the way, many believed tomatoes were poisonous, could cure almost anything. Liver problems? Tomatoes. Diarrhea? Tomatoes. Indigestion? Tomatoes. Bilious attacks, whatever that even means. Tomatoes. People went wild. The health craze spread across the country like wildfire. And then an entrepreneur named Archibald Miles took it even further. He created tomato ketchup pills. Concentrated tomato extract, pressed into a small pill, sold at pharmacies all across America. The marketing was genius. The label read, Dr. Miles' compound extract of tomato, a certain cure for the liver. These pills sold massively. For nearly a decade, tomato ketchup was classified, sold, and consumed as medicine. Doctors prescribed it. Patients took it. Pharmacies stocked it alongside real drugs. It wasn't until the 1850s that the medical community finally called it what it was. Mostly nonsense. The tomato pill craze collapsed almost overnight. But something remarkable had happened during those years. Americans had fallen deeply in love with the taste of tomato. Through the mid-1800s, tomato ketchup recipes exploded in American cookbooks. But there was a massive, dangerous problem. The ketchup being made at home spoiled extremely fast. Tomatoes are highly acidic. Without proper preservatives, homemade ketchup would go bad within days. People were getting sick. Some people actually died from contaminated ketchup. Enter Henry John Heinz. 1876, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Heinz had already built a small condiment business. He understood preservation. And more importantly, he understood people. He reformulated ketchup completely, adding more vinegar, more sugar, and cooking it significantly longer. The result was thicker, sweeter, more stable, and had a shelf life that could survive long trips on trains and ships. Then he did something nobody had done before. He bottled it in clear glass, on purpose, so every customer could see exactly how clean and red and pure the product was. At a time when food fraud was rampant and people were terrified of what was inside their food, this transparency was absolutely radical. He called it Heinz Tomato Ketchup. It was an instant sensation. By 1900, Heinz was producing 5 million bottles a year. Through the early 1900s, ketchup became the default American condiment. World War I and World War II spread it across the globe. American soldiers ate it everywhere they were stationed, and local populations developed a taste for it. Fast food chains in the 1950s and 60s completely cemented its dominance. McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, all of them built their flavor experience around ketchup. Today, Heinz alone produces over 650 million bottles every year. The global ketchup market is worth over $23 billion. And Americans consume nearly 3 bottles per person every single year. From a Chinese fish sauce to a British mushroom condiment to an American medicine pill to the world's most popular condiment. The next time you squeeze ketchup on your fries, just remember, someone's great-great-grandmother once swallowed that exact same thing as a liver cure. Food history is weird, and that's exactly why we love it. If you want to know which popular food was invented completely by accident, that video is right here. I'll see you in the next one.